So, people, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about this whole Linux laptop thing, because we are seeing a lot of the fanboys going really, really crazy about, oh, Linux laptop this, Linux laptop that, and how amazing they are, and this is going to evolve Linux, and it's the great thing for Linux, and all of these fucking things, and they're praising it like, look, hardware vendors is finally on our path, and they're finally realizing the power of Linux, and all of these fucking crazy things. It's not that big of a deal, and this article over here is kind of proof of that, because Linux has been on big laptop companies' radars way before this article, to be honest, but this is just the earliest one I could find within like a 1 minute fucking Google search. I can probably find a Dell article or something like that from way before 2014. But we have Linux on laptops by big vendors at least for, I would guess, closely, if not more than 10 years. Nothing has fucking happened with Linux in those 10 years. It has not given us more people to Linux. It's not evolved Linux. Linux have stayed the same, okay? So let's look into this little article here. And it's from the 4th of November 2014, as you can see here, and it's HP Ubuntu laptop. The latest notebooks save money by ditching Windows for Ubuntu. Is your next notebook open source? And you can see here the price. This is in pounds, so you can convert that over to yourself. But I will just scroll down closer to it here. And again, there have been laptops way before. This is just the HP one that I found. This is something that I really, really find interesting. They did a playback here, so you have like the Pro 13 inch. This is like MacBooks. MacBooks have always, have great battery life. But if you go down here to the HP Ubuntu, the laptop you see here, 3 hours and 40 minutes. And this is why I'm saying that nothing is going to happen, okay? Linux laptops is not going to skyrocket Linux into fandom, because already back then we had problems with, there's crazy dogs outside, I'm sorry about that. We had problem with battery life. Almost 10 years later, we still have problem with battery life. Has battery life gone better under Linux laptops and stuff like that? Yeah, but so has it under Windows, and so has it under Mac OS. I know some of you girls and guys out there will say, well, Linux was not that good back then. It has evolved. Yeah, so have Windows and Mac OS. You have to compare this to Windows back then. You have to compare this to Mac OS back then in 2014. You have to compare this with laptops from that area. And you have to compare Linux to what Windows is today. You have to compare Linux to what Mac OS is today, and what Mac OS laptops is today, and what Windows laptops is today. So in 10 years, we have not even come close to compete with Windows and Mac OS just on the battery front. What about the rest of it? What about usability? What about stability? Will some say they're easy stuff like, but usability, accessibility, and all of those fucking things, are we still there? Because every time Linux gets more capable, Windows get more capable. So it's just funny to me when I see a lot of these Linux champions be like, yeah, now we have Ping books or Penguin books, what the fuck they are called, Lux books, or what, again, I can't fucking remember all the Star books and blah, blah, blah. Yes, we are getting, Linux laptops are being talked more about, but also remember this, we have more Linux YouTubers than we did in 2014. And already back then, Linux YouTubers was also talking about Linux laptops. We have System 76 now, which, if I have to guess which company would have the biggest success of championing Linux on the laptop, it would be System 76, because they have found a niche market, the STEM industry, where there is a need for Linux, and that's what they are focusing on. They're not so much focusing on you and me. They are more focusing on STEM industry, science, mathematics and stuff like that, physics and stuff like that. Yes, we can benefit from it, but we are not really their core audience or their core market. It is the STEM and science industry. So I guess they will be the company that could have the best success, because they found a niche where there is a demand for this. And they are building laptops, desktops, and operating systems for that niche. So they have they're not specifically targeting everyone. They kind of are, because everyone can use the system, but it's like, this is what we are mostly focusing on. And of course, they're also thinking about you and me, but this is their core audience, or their core, the product that's the core customers. That's probably a better word. We are like secondary or third in line. So they probably have the best chance of succeed. We didn't have that back then. We didn't have laptop vendors that or computer vendors that had like a focused niche with Linux in a market. So it could potentially help us, but that's just because System 76 found that niche. It was not because we got Linux on laptops, because Linux on laptops have been around probably since the 2010s, if not even before that. And we still have not caught up to Windows and stuff like battery life, usability, accessibility, software ability. And when I mean software ability, I mean, yeah, we have GIMP, but people want Photoshop, okay? We have FreeCAD, or 3D CAD, or what the fuck they're called. People want AutoCAD. It's like trying to sell a Nike knockoff to people that want Nike shoes. That's kind of what we're trying to do here. And it don't matter to them. They don't fucking care. If they want Photoshop, they want Photoshop. Even if they can live with GIMP. If they want Photoshop, they want Photoshop. And most people want brand name. That's why a lot of companies spend a lot of money to build up a brand name, because it has a lot of value. And GIMP is not a brand name. It is highly capable and it's a great software, don't get me wrong, but it don't have the brand recognition. So I kind of laugh a little bit inside every time I see these videos about Linux YouTubers praising this Linux laptop, like, oh my god, this is better than any fucking Windows laptops out there, and it's going to skyrocket usability for Windows Linux, and if only we had Linux laptops before, and Linux in pre-installed on system, that would mean that more people buy Linux and stuff, Linux laptops and stuff like that. Well, again, we had it since 2014. It didn't get more people to use Linux. It didn't get more people to invest in the Linux ecosystem. Why would it do it now then? Why would something that has been happening for over 10 years not happen? Or that should have been happening, not happen in 10 years? Why is that going to happen now? I say this a lot. If you want a really good prediction about how something is going to go, look at how things has been done in the past and see if that thing has evolved or if it stayed the same. If it has evolved over time, then you could predict that, okay, at some point this is going to burst off. But if it stays the same, the chances are nothing is going to happen in the next fucking 10 years. So if we look at Linux, nothing has really happened with Linux the last 10 years. We have had a steady market share of 2 to 3 to 1%, depending on what fucking statistics you look at. We hadn't really got any mainstream boost in user base. More people know about Linux, but more people not using Linux. Is more people going to use Linux in the future? Well, no, because Linux has not done any massive evolutions. We've gotten better GNOME, better KDE, better software, but so have Windows. Microsoft Office has been updated. Windows has been updated, blah, blah, blah. All of these fucking systems has also gotten better. It's not like Windows have been frozen in time and Linux is just every time, okay, this is a better Ubuntu than before, but a little bit tweaks here and there. We haven't had any paradigm shifting events going on within the Linux ecosystem. So that's why we're staying the same. So get that back to laptops. What has happened with Linux on the laptops? Everything has gotten a little bit better hardware support, a little bit better battery life, a little bit better screens, a little bit better support. But so has it with Windows. They've gotten a little bit more efficient, a little bit more battery life, a little bit better screens, a little bit better laptops. So they also just stay steady at 80 to 90% of the desktop market. So again, if you look at how history have been going on up till now, and you see that we have not done anything massively within Linux that is like, this is a paradigm shift, then it's not going to change anything, because we get 30 minutes more battery life. Windows get 30 minutes more battery life. Oh, well. We get 10% faster. Windows get 10% faster. You get what I'm saying here? Every time we improve a little bit, they improve a little bit. So we're not doing anything different. We're not getting anything, this wow factor. It's like, we need this feature. We don't have that under Linux. We don't have something, killer apps or what you would call them, killer feature. We don't have anything under Linux where it's like, this is why we need this. I need this software or this technology so bad that this is why you should be running Linux. The best thing we have going for us is that you own the operating system. It's open source. They don't take telemetry and they don't infringe on your privacy. All of which most computer users sadly don't care about. So the benefits that we have is that it's things that most people don't care about. So every time we just get better with more, anti-privacy, more stability, more, control. Windows just get better in this, they take more data and stuff like that, but people don't care. You get what I'm saying here? So this is why Linux on the laptop has basically not moved that much in 10 years, let's just say that. Because we have not provided something that users want or need desperately, and we are the only one providing it. So again, if you look in the past behavior, have Linux done any paradigm shifting things up till now? No. Are they going to do it in the future? Who knows, but the past say no. You've had 30 years to do paradigm shifting things under Linux, and we have not done any of that. Windows have done a lot of paradigm shifting things. They have tried things that failed, but they tried to push the envelope. Mac or Apple have done a lot of fucking paradigm shifting things the last 30 years. The iPads, iPhones, Mac OS X, I could go on. Like, they shifted the way people use technology plenty times. Windows, to some extent, have done that also the last 30 years. Windows 95, Windows 2000, XP, kind of Windows Vista was kind of a little bit of a paradigm shift, even though it was a fucking fat picker for operating system. Windows 8, to some extent, was a little bit of a paradigm shift. It got more people, or tried to get more people into the notion of universal operating system, both for tablet and desktops, even though they didn't like the Metro UI. But a lot of the technologies we have in Windows 11 today is handed down from Windows 8. They just gave us a fucking start menu. But a lot of the other technologies are still there. You get what I'm saying here? Linux has just stayed the same. We just got a little bit better open office, a little bit better desktop environments, a little bit better kernel, a little bit more hardware support, a little bit more battery life. But we haven't really changed that much. And that's the problem. Is that we just get a little bit better. We're not gone from, okay, we get a little bit better to, wow, this is something that everyone just fucking have to use. Or, wow, this is going to change the way computing is forever. We have not done any of those things. And that's why if we haven't managed to do that in 30 years Linux have existed, or 30 plus years, and Linux laptops is not giving the end user a wow factor. Oh my god, we are saving $100 on a laptop, therefore everyone's going to buy Linux laptops. If that's not happened in 10 years, will it happen in the next 10 years? Because as far as I know, and as far as I can see, we are not working on any technologies that will give us this wow factor. Pipewire, not a wow factor. Wayland, not a wow factor. Open sourcing NVIDIA drivers, not a wow factor. You get what I'm trying to say here. You're picking up what I'm laying down. We need that wow factor, and this is proof. This article here that, again, since 2014 and before that, we have had Linux on laptops, and people bought Linux on laptops back then, but not that many people. You could argue more people today are buying Linux on laptop, yes, but it hadn't really moved any numbers. That's what I'm trying to say here. And that's a bad indicator, because what we're doing right now is not working. So having Linux on a laptop, it didn't work in 2014. It probably didn't work in 2000. I think, don't quote me on this, but I think Dell was some of the first ones to allow or sell Linux on laptops. And I think it probably was before 2010. I can't remember. I'm an old fucking guy, been around this for many decades. Actually, over 2 decades I've been in this fucking Linux thing here. I think decades is 10 years, and I'm getting confused. I've been doing this thing for over 20 years, and put it that way. So there's stuff that's a little bit fuzzy in my memory. But having Linux on a laptop didn't move anything back then. So why is it going to do it now? That's what I'm going to say. See you all later. Bye bye.